Baby Messiah, it might not be entirely on Arsenal, but
1.3.
Chelsea budget Premiership, Chelsea into Premiership. Why are you scared?
I'm not scared.
No, you sound.
As a slot to mention the power or say or contenders. And a manager will be a bit near kind of a bat. And you do be canon OT.
Maresca can say,
oh yeah, or reply no.
But such Chelsea Premiership and yes, surprise me, man, I surprise me. Oh, say, baby, Chelsea Genesis, you know. First, now Obia the Nanibu say, oh, Yama Chelsea break a crack. I feel I'm showing I feel we say, it will time they will come up. But before people realize that Chelsea could do title, you know, and whatever they demonstrated against PSG on that night, you know, really showed a club or a team that really prepared for PSG. O preparation they come to Kobakum, and the preparation they come to Kwadodo. Yeah, not a different. Some of the times, you know, only say a marathon you reserve your energy for endurance. But so when you say a one-off there, or call for the cutting edge, you go for kill it off. Not work out. But you analyze the first half they had against PSG and feel say no, Chelsea can do something. One thing at Chelsea lose what they can say. Everything there's one thing called the surprise element. The surprise element, you know, most of the only team need to be more first half, you be second half, you know, and son when you bounce so say and Crofree and Daritium. Ometimi high. It yes science and yemi nimbre. The bia me kan ya na meta catch say football in here DH no e full of practicality. E theory no people so. But on the field no the course ado ani hu no. So wo kan ya now come with more confidence. Look, media man Ali. First half no kwa we na Ghana for budget so say Crofona boy 0-0 we aka 45 minutes Israel nya we see be here no. We felt said the next 45 minutes no yaw. Not to say ya chishire ensa kosoro ndi me with am bro yam sa
go first half media man clear opportunities.
Bra. So it means media man had the surprise element against Ali. But second half finally called dressing room no. On bet discussing media man different from whatever they did in the first half prior to the game. So be any Chelsea babishia or Chelsea mienu. But then can you know near so Chelsea dressing room place in the door so I feel a coach you know or you're reshaping or kate or you're morphing or you say or mopping the players are on penny at the or jabby someone but say dear Obia fin any Chelsea Obia fin any shamo.
And you know you glasses
Obia fin any shamo yaw. So you've lost it and in losing it one some more departmental debt. Mo method no. Mienu miensa na mo ni do mo sunu ni ho no mo hwan de be adwuma na de ma. Mo defense no. Omo bom di 1 or 2 ni ho no hwan de be adwuma na. You don't forget say in the last couple of seasons that departmental debt for some American akwa di teams bi anya. Rodri or Man City without Rodri. We saw what happened. At some point na Mikel Arteta lose to Thomas Partey kakra bi or Champions League you know. Okay. You saw what?
Just one game against PSG.
Also, they just have a home. But a numpono ya who they see. So, but Chelsea we are asking Casedo ni who when the Bababo. We are going for 38 games. About Champions League in a count, about FA Cup. We are waiting to see you at the top 4. Champions League final stage, FA Cup final stage. It's when you're prepared, dear bra. Mon free PSG from much say, okay, money a team will more 100 day. You've lost the surprise thing. Obia show 2-2. No planning how the demo. I feel Chelsea will fight hard. Maresca is an Italian coach. He knows the game even before the started as a coach. And football naturally a passion. And yet Prekopena sorry about your sports guy. You loved it. Your cry your money or mobile you have the passion nowadays. But I feel that be a kind of refinery. Or polish it. The professional passion not turning into professionalism. It was a year century in a channel Jan century, I'm a full-time coach. And Trouble Division 1. Not just a me be jai when they are to enough football, yeah, minimum say me yana gra. I feel me jet him to do your touchline. Me lucy back what we say, me win back what I knew, you're Ginny, you're feeling brutal, boy, we see a catch them. So Maresca would work. Now, me moving away from Maresca no EPL game back home Barcelona. And only game back home me pass me shempa na ya me se me break akra wo ho. Na my main final time kakra na me ho argument bi o baby. Na man for air super one Laporta pa no more supano. Me crier. Sandro Rosso, Bartomeu, all the presidents in the history of Barcelona Bono. One person I'm a review no. This guy, Bartomeu. Laporta. Yo, I respect the guy. Makachu football chrononkwa, football corruption, football is sumajuma. So see na uko preach awoba and awoba football media please. Who deceive you? So sometimes and you many be how to even get back to baby and now one very difficult. Just the way you're bonny and now you can't truck a crack and send what to me about. Okay, so far kron so I want to me ma
or the messy.
Yo, I have loved you for the fact that yeah now man community more easier in every angle I discussing to deal with the greatest ever player of the club. Easily, wabra won show okay. Yes, can kuye ko esro. One can't just a ko, but also ko.
Was a motto abana.
Is beat say Paris Saint-Germain new Olympic Marseille. Enra me ma ya wo say me de me hu ni say the likes of Paris Saint-Germain a favorite to win the French league fancy and by fluke and by assumptions alone by how much prove yourself in recent years about how competitive they can be when it comes to the kind of results producing the French league
yes,
most of the time Paris Saint-Germain yamo league in fenru fancy the 25th week the 26th week no na omatimi age the French league and they assume na so
yes,
but I think this is a season omobeji there and omo favorite say omobeji league ni there but Olympic Marseille be more a proper competition oh yes Monaco so be more a proper competition. The reason why I'm talking about Monaco and Olympic Marseille are two things. Fancy, last season Olympic Marseille no more very good away record. But it will feel no more fambo pa. It omutimi boy a lot of away games last season winning about 70 to 75% of the away games. And komutimi puti in those particular results it will fear. Meji to me say ka league na nwie se the city ko wie na Paris Saint-Germain fan fala. And I think they've also beefed up their team because the likes of Mason Greenwood mudi go say brewomo. Adrian Rabiot has enough experience. But Omo market in Makofa players but say Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang young mudi omoba, which gives them an extra edge when it comes to finishing up top. It is experience coupled with the young talents within the team. Omunya results the moment. I think one of the problem Omunya epane as a dino nai. Sukunya injury situation be. I want him most part of the season. Now he will return fresh. Get into this team and make sure some results no most abet miaka. Then there is Monaco. Makofa Ansu Fati. A fit Ansu Fati obetimenya consistent games can complement players with Minamino. Results. Let's not also forget to say if Paul Pogba is fit, they are going to have a double pivot of Paul Pogba and Kamara. Physically dominant midfielders in the middle of the pack. I'll make create enough for them.
Yeah.
It Monaco so last season is not mostly good kakra, but also big problem here said they were not consistent. But fancy, I think say this season Ankasano, say Monaco any players in fit, Olympic Marseille any players in fit, no more consistent. They will give Paris Saint-Germain a challenge. That is not to say Paris Saint-Germain doesn't remain my favorite for the French League. But I actually believe the competitive level of the league, it was a mutimi peja. A muba peja, na nkoye dollar, na nkoye boring. That means it was a Monaco. Any a team beat is Olympic Marseille. Emu peja nijina de mawomo. In the Spanish La Liga. Now we are talking about a 3-horse race, not necessarily a 2-horse race this time around. The reason why I'm talking about a 3-horse race in Nigeria, Atletico Madrid kind of investment on my year within their team this season, going into it, and then Villarreal Bebo Oviedo, Real Oviedo mo. We are about to other games in the continue. Barcelona and Bobo Mayoka will come and do a proper preview of these games. But fancy to whet your appetite going into the league. I think this is the season. Ansha Obi league in term.
despite my favorite being FC Barcelona. Last season obi a real league in tem. San ebe this season bi. Menya sure say ebe league na real na bi a Barcelona tri league ni bi a 20 points. No, 18 points and Barcelona G league ni be February there be. They remain the favorite, but I actually believe that teams like Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid will continue to push FC Barcelona. For Bilbao, I think say omu team no omu lack one or two dynamics be, and they are not consistent in getting results season after season. But this time around, no, you look at Atletico Madrid now, it looks like tactically they are shifting from what we used to know about them.
Okay.
And you look at a team like Real Madrid, a new coach, a new system. I think this is the season Real Madrid is also going to be about team performance, not necessarily about individual performances of the team. Say bia you be season evolutions na the team na to le kon there be. I think this one particular season Real Madrid will be playing like a quality team together.
Okay.
I want to push the likes of FC Barcelona. But fancy, Barcelona still remains the favorite in this particular discussion we are making. But I also believe that it's also going to be the league of the number 9s. Fancy, the reason why I'm saying it's going to be the league of the number 9s in Atletico Madrid, Julian Alvarez, Alexander Sørloth. You read the number of goals as Sørloth shared last season. Share the number of goals as Julian Alvarez shared last season. Then you come to FC Barcelona, the number of goals Rafinha. Any the likes of Yama Moshe, you know. Nani na babe jina papa ba akona so in the shape of Robert Lewandowski. It's an old story about Lewandowski say, washa see a oye training na good news the man FC Barcelona. Because if you want to win the league, you need your number 9 to be on top of his game.
Yeah.
And onyo bit say Kylian Mbappe on the ball na Real Madrid last season. Ye no na she goals do. Even am no ka say European golden boot no on a title na ye dey. Ekutano. So the battle of the number 9s will only need their team to complement the numbers they give. And the trophy will be theirs. It's Barcelona and Lewandowski. But they bought Barcelona pioneer say, Omunya team Nibia and Mama Canada numbers Nibia day. Eka Ferran Torres. Rafinha. Where the number of goals are these guys share. Femi Lopez from the bench. But for Real Madrid, Anya Vinicius are they Kylian Mbappe. Ebi anawa the other na wow player Vavadi. Wo Puma shot ba ku bi fi akire na bia kwa kotonet. Jude Bellingham did not add more goals like 2 previous seasons or the goals with Real Madrid
because Ancelotti is a sign role.
Ancelotti is a sign role no. So this time around no, if your number 9s are playing and they are scoring, you need your team to complement them. Said about the perfect balance to get results at the end of the day. Not team now you're overly reliant on one person at the end of the day. No one team and one team in the league, you know. But to say it, Barcelona remains my favorite. I think the top scorer will still be between Kylian Mbappe and Robert Lewandowski. The top scorer for the league, you know. The third force of Abe you know, but Julian Alvarez. But I think these two are really going to step up. But the young player of the year, I'm looking for, I said, this is another Gula will set a perfect example within the setup of Real Madrid. And give them the results of Muya. Because he looks like Obia or more trusting ye or more trusting ye pa. Say Obetimi push it forward. Now what team there is. But I'm also looking for a big season for a player like Balde. Last season, we said there are consistent games for Barcelona. But I think he comes in this season looking fresh. And I expect him so Obetimi consistent Diama Barcelona. No more say Timia come results also more Timika. Interesting times ahead for us as we are coming to start the Spanish La Liga. Now in the English Premier League, and I'm assuming you to me say a 4-horse race. Two remain semi-favorite Manchester City to win the league. But me to me is a 4-horse race. 4-horse race near wine. Ebejina Chelsea, Ebejina Arsenal, Ebejina Liverpool. Na ejina Manchester City. Omofo ni nebejina omoso. But fancy, obi are excited about it due to Sanyoma we am ebubodi no. Say 4-horse race enya to say the Liverpool last season na league no running away with it at a point in time. I think this is another league it will go down to the wire again. Enya to say last season. And I think it will be very close. Arsenal, adia no muhia pa no bia the tabo man no bia the di omatem de bia day in there at so muhia center forward. And then Omako a German so for Vitor Gyökeres the neighbor. Now, how many goals do you expect Vitor Gyökeres to score? You remember strikers in the aspect so. But I think they are also trying to fix certain missing pieces within their setup, at least to help push them. Attack will win you games, defense will win you titles.
Yes.
I think when you look at the Premier League quietly, Arsenal and their defense are strong enough to compete because of Mosquera, or Gabriel Magalhaes, or William Saliba, or Ben White, or Ricardo Calafiori. Most of these guys have experience and the quality to give you the results that you want, especially from your defense. In the midfield, Wakakofa Zubimendi Dinaba, quality deep line playmaker. Me to me say Onyani Dea or your deadly line breaking passes, assisting from the middle of the park and arriving late in the box for shot. There is also still Declan Rice in this particular setup. So I think Arsenal team know as a whole, and what they meant to be part of the 4 teams are making league very competitive and keep it close. Mikel Arteta wakofa new set piece bi dia ba na no hweba ku bia no guard ko share omu nyina be gu say na no guard nko ate no ho ne aboba ko panyan. They will try and move with that particular dark arts in such instances. Number 2, over team like Liverpool. I think Liverpool last season and this season expectation in Mube Page. Fancy, you can't win the league and expect expectations to drop. The moment you were able to win the league without any major signing, Obeka se Federico Chiesa, me Federico Chiesa be signing.
No, say no dey obi enim say.
What you say?
Na Chiesa o free
Diaba. No be akra na anyo say Chiesa akra so be Liverpool aba be start here Luis Diaz money ko Gakpo. But this season Liverpool are making significant signings. Wakofa Florian Wirtz the number. Wakofa Hugo Ekitike the number. Now you look at the kind of signings that Liverpool into their setup. Milos Kekes, Jeremy Frimpong. Yan Franche trim say o check the Premier League last season and say you top 3 left backs and Milos Kekes come. Yan Franche trim say in the Germany Bundesliga say you top 3 right backs and Jeremy Frimpong come. Yan Franche trim say you top 3 attacking midfielders in the Bundesliga Florian Wirtz come.
Yes.
And I was also top 5 center forwards in the Bundesliga last season. Hugo Ekitike come. So Liverpool have not only gone into the market to bring in quantity. 4 major leagues quality players to complement Omo last season. So expectations and drop it to say the last season no be and share them Liverpool. No, this season no be our expectations say Liverpool. I don't know where the last season no be atra. No one said to me I can results be. And what the be also to send any so Liverpool points are more accumulating the last season. It was not better to some seasons or more also second. Fancy now Manchester City ni Arsenal ni Nigeria no more so. Some seasons no more accumulating e be 92 points, e be 93 points. Fancy ni no more team afanye league no. So this time around, no, say Liverpool are not only going to perform and get results, but Liverpool will be able to reach the 90-point mark in order to win the league. Because this season, league is much more competitive than last season. Because Obia will Liverpool, Obia Koshane Sapomunsu, and there is one thing that makes it quite difficult for Obia to defend the Premier League title. Fancy, I always say this: once someone in the Premier League, winning back-to-back titles is very difficult. Intina no Obiabo Alex Ferguson Abaso say a bad adaptation or a solid. Now Obiabo Jose Mourinho Abaso say a bad adaptation or a solid because they know when to set back, they know when to attack, and they know when to keep possession. And to pick during the season, fancy Premier League na ya bono Ferguson not or type picking from December hodeko because you say a honey there. Obi play abe call AFCON, Obi play abe pra, Obi play abe say a ho no picking or the Argentine League. Pep Guardiola baby eduru maybe no eka fi be January ho kono timi win 15 games the twaso no be antimi hye no the Babaji League. Liverpool su be last season abra mo she league na se omo she matches bebre ekwi ase na bia na echire omo draw elusu bi no na still na league no mo ye dey obuwo. Arsenal is trying to find the perfect balance between the two and try and get their results. But I think for Liverpool, this season will be much more important due to the fact that they've spent a lot of money in the market and expectations will definitely raise for them some media more results. Meshe Hawa and Slot ebe adapt because Premier League is an unforgivable league. And Francis coach is new here. So when you say weak point the ha on the boho de bia they will hate there. That is how the Premier League was. It also someone sano. A bit to Pep Guardiola. Obekaya Edru maybe no possess ball the following season or buy no see there be Masesa Mensano. Maybe about four back, and me center back and be moving to the defensive midfield role with Rodri. No Asesa Mensano. Edru maybe no Asasa be before just to make sure say he keeps up the pace when it comes to the Premier League. So it's interesting to see say Liverpool will be in a competitive mix, and I still remain say Liverpool. I am a favorite to be the second on the league log.
Wow.
Going into this particular season when it comes to the Premier League. Fancy, Chelsea, a fox in the box in this particular discussion we are making about who is going to be really competitive when it comes to the Premier League. Chelsea are outsiders in this particular discussion we are making. But Fancy, the reason why I am slot Coca say we are world champion. The moment you become a world champion, England shall world nase. England almost a world nase. The moment you become the world champion, and you don't only become the world champion for becoming world champion's sake. Fancy, Oshe the best club in Europe in the shape of Paris Saint-Germain. And I didn't J Club World Cup. No. So if you call yourself world champion, you should be ready for any expectation about that also. Fancy, Chelsea supporters our expectations per this season. Say league no also mutimije. A more huge expectations. So it's a league no multimedia due to two reasons. One, they believe that they have a proper attack that can give them goals and help them compete. Number two, omo believe say area some team be no one more decide so which is true. Which is true. And Chelsea supporter be deserve say obenya hope. Say Fancy omo betimi e dia bobo modern a compete the league no. But baby omo so make catch omo say omo manage omo expectations near say playing one knockout game and now over knockout games. And it's over 38 Premier League matches. And the Champions League account a totally different ball game altogether. For example, last season Chelsea started on a very good note to Bekai.
Yeah.
So 38 league games injuries will mebwa. Bad form will mebwa. And there are few things that have been able to push to get a certain level of consistency when it comes to the Premier League. Fancy, yes. City mo any Liverpool Muji League no more prove your chances or person G League na. And you can say lose more than 3 matches.
Yeah, because Omono only loses 3 matches, no.
No.
And it's almost one in the
that is the standard of the Premier League.
Then it means also lose fewer.
I also lose fewer. So if you want to win the league, Faton was say league in one lose and I said 3 matches video day. Yeah. Ulusi. Obo draw bebre so aso be she. It's even say in 38 games, you know, at least Fancy Premier League record by Manchester City, the likes of Liverpool, you know, even Arsenal in second place. At least I was say 25 games to 28 games also to mission in. I'm talking about the competitive nature of the Premier League currently in this era. That is how you are supposed to play it. It's me busan who a lot of questions he say. Chelsea bet me about league season when you na bro and lose not less than 3 matches ana. Be honest with yourself. What am I say? Liverpool bet me about league way without losing not less than 3 matches ana. Yes, Oma ye bi da me ehunu. Huh? Yeah. City bet me about league way without losing less than 3 matches. Yes, Oma ye bi da me ehunu. So these are the teams you are going to compete with. And I think match after match, week after week, Wednesday be Sunday Man City. How to balance the squad and get the right things out of them is very important in this aspect. Chelsea, among these particular 4 clubs, you know, they have an outside chance. But I'm not saying I'm completely ruling them out. What did they mention as every single team I'm about in have a chance to win it. But Manchester City remains the favorite due to the fact that one experienced coach encore 2 seasons without winning the league. Encore 2 seasons without winning the league. And the Premier League is very difficult to defend it back to back, especially from Liverpool's part. Makacho said in recent times, meaning say new coaches be about your coaches be omutin beji no mo first season, second season. But I want say coaches be na aba league no mo first season, no mo beji league. The following there are few of them one pen abit makana say Jose Mourinho. Oba no beji league 2004 2005. 2005 2006 no sato so fancy. Ana meboa. Aside on the buy no Antonio Conte baby we the first season and go ye no be akope baby atna. So it's left for Liverpool and Ancelotti to prove different points when it comes to these discussions we are making. Then there's Arsenal me di 2 years say Mikel Arteta so one league ni this season Arsenal from Pamono.
Whoa.
Oh yes.
But meaning say unya bosswa most of Arsenal fans no I know unya dream because some feel say as a baby a Wenger Jan ho Unai Emery mo Jan ho baby na Arsenal ewo Arteta ban wa pick up the pieces na.
The person me buso obo question bi o. E dey nti na mo mugina so mo mpamo ase Wenger.
Wenger dey no.
Anaso mo ne papem we anya pamo kra mo ne pa.
Dear
pa na ma Arsenal supporters e do maybe no more lose some position to as a Wenger. They should tell us. Because say fancy they were tired of 4th position. They were tired of 3rd position. They were tired of DBI and Timianje near FC. And no more side in the near FC. They felt they said they were accepting mediocrity and they needed to move on to different levels.
Yeah.
Meboa.
Jonas Senior, generous na Nyoma bad.
None Nyoma bad for
Arsenal.
For Arsenal.
Wenger no.
And I say, Edrum Rebini Dia na Mokache as a Wenger. No say or no born or born efe. But you baby no Arsenal to me league no. That's why I say OG league after 2004 National League. No. Yeah? Arsenal new league.
To feel say am I patient enough with Arteta?
For 6 years.
Na Unai Emery the next any man fino crowd.
Fancy. Tell me a top 4 club or 6 traditional clubs say what the EP anymore. Coach be this 6 years without winning the Premier League near man that's what you want. Tell me. No, you tell me. So you want to rock shoulders with the top guys. And I'm a Arsenal calls themselves a big club, which is true when it comes to the Premier League in terms of history. Fancy 14 Premier League titles. Sometimes I'm here Arsenal for supporters. Indiana Busamo say, it is different when Senka Mikel Arteta was the start of the project. Fancy. We can have a different discussion by saying, say, the fact still remains, say Arsenal had 14 Premier League titles, so we are top 4 club in the Premier League. But the reality is, Ebi Omunyan Drew stage also Multimiji League, you know. But for 6 seasons, and how close are Arsenal?